We're gonna make a pretend gel coat on it. We're gonna brush regular West 105 on it. Yeah. Stick them in the oven while we're yakking, and then by the time we're ready to get slimy. It's 2x2 twirl. Yep. Yep. Everybody? No. So what we can do is, so we done with our wax. How many cups you got?
This is now going my second.
Okay. We have chop strand mat we're using now, and not too far distant future we won't be using that anymore. That's we typically use mat with hand layup, star-rated resin products. Bucket and brush, bubble rollers, polyester, polyester resin, lots of styrene papers. But breather, we'll use the breather today, which is we put in the process stack for vacuum bagging to get the gas out, to breathe. This is a perforated release ply. Yeah, it does. There's different chemistry, and there's also different. Some of the holes are pinpricks, some of the holes are punched. Right. Different diameters, different spacing, depending upon which trend. So open up bond sites so you can get primary bond. Anyway, this is 24 ounce woven roving. 24 ounce woven roving, an ounce and a half chop strand mat. Probably the most common fiber edge. Okay, and they're held together with a polyester knit. So, and we spray gel coat on the surface, put the wet laminate in there, put a vacuum bag on it, or just contact mold it. We have closed molds like these. These are resin transfer molds, light resin transfer molds, where typically both faces, this surface and that surface, would get sprayed with gel coat. These will be the vents. These lines will go into a resin trap, and this will go into the resin bucket. So there's negative pressure in the tool, and the resin is introduced here. And with these kinds of tools, we can actually pressurize the resin a little bit. So there's negative pressure in the tool pulling the resin through the laminate. Plus, we might put maybe 5. These are all in the cavity of the tool. And you get a part with two finished surfaces. So we have a pot of gel coat. The wand goes down in it. The pump pumps the gel coat through the line. There's also going through the line is we have some acetone line. We have a line with the initiator, the catalyst. This is designed so that the catalyst mixes in the head, and then it's sprayed out in a fan. So you walk up the tool and spray gel coat. Fire them up and use them for a day, and put them away for a week. We have to refill them. We have boxes of gun rope. We've got a box out on the floor. It's a glass strand, and you feed the glass strands through there. The reason that they're insulators is that it goes through really quickly and it builds up a big static charge. And in fact, we need to with both of these machines, we need to ground them because you build up a big static charge and a couple of weird things can happen. But here, fit them through the ferrules. This is an air-powered, it's an air motor, and there's a little wheel here with razor blades in it, and a rubber follower, and it spits, it grabs the fiber and spits it through and chops it up as it does it. Meanwhile, we have resin coming out.
It's bathtub, shower stalls,
boathouse, you know.
So, yeah.
So up until it gets to that little.
some reason it's sticking. Anyway, we have it also has a heating element in it, so it can go to 500 psi. Oh, there we go, and 350 degrees. It's pretty short. It's pretty small. Work envelope, but we take our parts under vacuum. Okay, so we take that vacuum bag and we plug it into the this is our test.
I bet you need That's awesome.
Yep, we get little these little clamps.
Stretches well.
They're actually meant to pick up steel plate, and these guys have this inch of bond surface, and these were pulling apart at about 2,000 pounds. Most of these, and this is, you see what happened here? You don't want the adhesive to fail, you want the laminate to fail. That's the object of most secondary failed structure. Pardon?
What is the
This is a ProSet product. It's made by Boujon Brothers. This is
great too.
276, 176.
You suggested I get that, and it's in a double plunger caulking gun.
Right.
Put it out, mix it up, and put it in.
Yep. So it's pretty good adhesive. And this adhesive actually has little glass spheres in it to control the bond line thickness. And so they put little glass balls in it, not glass bubbles, but little glass balls to control the bond line thickness.
So it can't be clamped too tight. It will always be space in between.
Exactly. Then you can, with that stuff, the super tough stuff, you can feel it.
Really?
Yeah, the first time I got it, I thought, Joe, right, to get a good result. So, to get real physical properties, what you have to do is you have to make samples in the environment that you're going to build it in. You make samples on the shop floor. And any engineer who takes physical properties out of a book is not doing a good job. They need, for composites, they need to go to the shop. You know, the guys are going to build a part. They need to make samples and then bust them and know what the real physics is. And after when you're working with materials, after you have some history, then you got a handle on what's going on. But the first time around, you need to make it and break it. Grand mass in a pot, and then you take another 100 gram mass and you wet out some laminate, because you're going to have more time in a thin film than you have in the 100 gram mass pot. But do that, and then it gives you a ballpark. So if you have 45 minutes before it starts to gel, and you have a job that's going to take 2 hours, you better think about what you're doing. It's green. Okay. You know, it's a green film, polyvinyl alcohol, and it dries, so it actually is a film that you can pull off.
Right. Yeah. That's what I've been using.
Some of you guys want to get put some gloves on and grab a brush, clip the bristles. Hopefully, this isn't going to, and the carbon will expand with it, obviously. And then when it cures and cools off, the glass will shrink and the carbon won't. Not necessarily.
Okay. I was thinking of economy.
If we're making a tool like that MOS tool over there, where the ends are captive, it can be a huge problem, because when it cools off, the part will shrink, and the carbon part that's in it is not going to shrink. The carbon part's going to be stuck and maybe broken. But if you're making a tube, a mast, for instance, the preferred material often is an aluminum extrusion, which has a similar coefficient of expansion to glass, and it's beneficial. The tool expands when it's heated, both circumferentially and longitudinally, so the fibers get stretched a little bit.
And that's why if it was one over one, it wouldn't do that. Two of them should.
Yeah, wow, that's so much.
And you have to be careful. And if you cut out a part,
We could do that. It actually will. It makes more sense for something like two different approaches. This is a really simple way to make a tool.
And is it hand sanded once the epoxy's on?
It was cut with a machine with a pretty dense tool path, so there wasn't a lot of sanding to do afterwards. It wants to be kind of untouched by human hands. I built all of the exterior body panels and bulkheads and doors and everything for a four-place turbine electric hybrid.
oh, is that the guy that did the Solstice?
Brian Booth, yeah.
Yeah.
Out in Detroit. And he's finishing the car, so he needs little winglets. I think they're cosmetic, mostly. So, anyway, these are machine parts. We didn't sand these. We covered them with film, with release film, and built these parts. They're one-piece hollow parts. These were the first pre-preg parts the students last year made, and they're really hard parts to make. They had no clue how hard the parts were to make. They made these beautiful parts. It's great. And this, this is a one-piece hollow tube.
To make them hollow?
Sure. So in the middle, going right down the middle of this, there's a here, so that it fits on the end of the part. That. And that's either going to get bonded on there or it'll get bolted on. We haven't figured that one out yet. But we have a material we use with hot parts called coarse splice, which is an epoxy foaming material that when we use honeycomb, it's pretty viscous, so it does it makes really nice little fillets. And if you look at this part, if you look at the edges of the Veneso, and this is 3 pound of Veneso, 5 pounds of Veneso. Right? If they overexpand it, we get these kind of rectangular cells, and they overexpand it so that it's
one of them at least is for sale. Save you a lot of time.
Yeah.
Okay, who's going to grab the back? No big deal. Bring along a piece of foam to rest it on. Let's take this one over here. Grab that piece of foam for you guys. Forward. No motor.
no motor, no batteries. I've got a sheet of urethane.
What's that function? We don't like them anymore.
Oh yeah?
We like Abbott's. Use Abbott's. Mechanical brakes as opposed to hydraulics and pain in the butt.
Yeah, that's one of the last Avocet freestyle slicks. We bought a bale of these when we first got into it. And then everybody liked saw what we were doing and decided they wanted to buy our tires. So we let too many of them go.
How fast does it go?
That's the first question. Always the first question. Well, I'll answer it. But that was not Electrathon.
No, it wasn't. No.
I'm on the board of Electrathon, and we do not condone that in any way. That's the anti-Electrathon. That's drag racing.
Okay.
Instead of 1 hour, that was 1 mile, 1 standing mile. All balls, all flats.
Wow.
We have decided over the years that the better setup is the Avid, which is a disc brake which is activated by a cable. You have a lot track, you can blow a tire in an instant, so you got to be really careful. I mean at high speed, around the parking lot, it's not a big deal. Laid up, nothing too
How far away is your pivot point for your arms?
pivots are right down here.
But all the rest of them.
That's all of it.
And you don't do that.
I don't know. I didn't. I'm getting awfully close right now. So years I've progressed. I've less and less process. I've written more neutral. It's also like harder and harder to get. This is tight.
This looks like a front fork.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. We had for years. We had a friend's box of fork parts. I was thinking in other ways.
What is in the engine looking? Is that a battery?
That's where the batteries go. Yep.
Two?
Two. Yep. Pretty basic. You can see the edge of it right here. Goes along the flat, along the flat, along the flat.
Okay.
And here it comes out and goes all the way around.
For the, yeah.
When, this was my solution in case they passed that.
Yeah.
I made these structural, tell them there's bolts in there, they're kind of strong. I don't know how much they'd support, but
I
at
don't-
least it's
they
something.
don't
The roll bar had to hold up the car if it was dropped from upside down from like 3 feet or 4 feet in the air. 1 foot, something like that. Like nobody ever put anybody upside down. So you simply set it to 30, so you're drawing 38.5 amp hours. And then you have to account for acceleration, and you take your foot off or any other things and balance it, and then maybe you got it hotter this time than you did last time.
When I don't have the,
Yeah. So you gonna leave the battery, the blanket in when you race?
well, we're not gonna make heat when we race, because when it's low, that to last an hour we would be drawing, in our case, right, based on the RPM.
Polycarbonate built onto it. We've got all the rockets for the back. We match our radio for the tight
Put the motor right there.
In the hub.
In the hub.
Do you think?
Well, in the wheel. Yeah, we'll use another dish wheel like on the front.
Yep.
And we'll make this thing somehow creatively twirl around,
Yep.
and that motor will be attached directly
Okay.
to the wheel. Make it a wheel motor. Left and right here. But one never knows, like if one's just a little bit airborne or something, like you're going over a bump and you got 14 pounds pushing that way. Never had the courage to use it.
Now, are you using ballast in here?
I've reached the point, I've reached the 180.
Okay.
I don't have any balance.
Okay. No cooler thicker than 3/8 of an inch in there.
No.
I can't fit in here.
Yeah, I know it's hard. It's kind of like a monkey in a football. But you're very, very thin. So.
Sweet.
And I'll tell you, when you're racing,
You can actually touch them.
the adrenaline is up so high, you wouldn't feel any.
Yeah.
You can think of anything.
It's so small.
The worst thing is that your legs are, your ankles were hitting.
Yeah.
Right up to your face, not starting there.
Yeah.
The longer you can delay lifting that air. What I think is happening is that I am making a hole at the widest part by the front wheels like this. I'm opening up that hole, and that hole's turning like this. They're both the same because it's it's reacting to pressure, and so that air is being pushed up here, and that's helping to pull in here.
Right.
The ideal, of course, is to keep this laminate, all the way down in full adhesions. The air is right against it. I know that at speed in the rain, I got raindrops sitting on my windshield.
Wow.
So
Whoa.
I obviously don't have full adhesion.
Right.
It's coming up across here and it's lifting. And,
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Negative
but
pressure.
I'll tell you, it's probably the best Electrathon shape ever been built.
Wow.
Speaking in nautical terms.
Well, it's like a little fun, you know? I'm enjoying it. A little more.
Now you're doing a video, but can you take stills out of it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know how that stuff works.
Yeah.
And we had a contactor in the back. When we got down to that last couple of volts, you know, over your minimum,
Yeah.
just hit that button and it just bypassed the controller and it gave it full voltage.
Oh, wow.
Post-hit boogie. And, you know, it helped a little bit, but not enough to make it exciting.
Yeah.
So we took everything out but the button.
Wow.
What sort of speed is it?
Sweet.
Right.
Where are the mirrors on this?
On the part that goes
No
on top. Yeah, I'm gonna give it. It's so nice to have a wheel.
Still have it. It was a gravity car, of course, because that's what the race was. Yeah. And he came across the last intersection, which was before the final downhill to the finish. Went airborne and lost it. Oh my! Went right into the hay bales doing 40 something. But we were a crowd favorite. I'd let you do it with hand controls, but if you can't reach the brake, it's no.
Like this, and insert a piece of higher density material that's it's got 3/8 of an inch of carbon on the top of it. Yeah. And then these are threaded inserts, key inserts. The inside here, there's a metal thread. Yeah. With a barrel around it and coarse threads on the outside. Right. And I'll just reinstall those. Now, are your what are your axles made of? 17.4. Okay. pH stainless. Okay. There that was released, so I molded it without bonding it to the aluminum, and then once I got it chopped up, I bonded the aluminum in with a proper
Just like a
adhesive.
channel? Just a channel?
Yeah.
Just a channel.
Yeah.
The whole thing, and then you cut the shape of it.
I like this, using the bolt from the Heim joint as the pivot point for your trailing arm.
Cool.
Yeah, it makes something do two things.
Yeah, I'm not.
You can't use those. Well, you know, we're just not in that kind of G.
Are these
Density materials inside the
polycarbonate?
foam?
Yeah.
No.
It just rose right.
Now, when you said
And we had to sand it down.
we'll probably see in the
Milk
slides,
jug
did you make a positive and then put this on top of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Supposedly they
So
use
instead of a negative volt,
it was almost
Well, no, we
miserable
made a
stuff to
plug,
work
we made a
with.
positive.
You know, when I say with ball,
Top on it.
take out that
Okay.
razor knife, shave it, tape it.
3 times the density of the structural core. So it's trying a little bit of weight.
It's only in like in bulkhead.